on, everybody? This is David Mitchell here, and welcome back to Fan to Trains, episode 179. And we're about to do the collab live stream with Demetrius again.
Brain dead.
So, yeah, we're about to start it again.
Sorry on the bad head. Bye.
I swear my Discord is acting up.
Yo, did you try the Discord on tablet?
Used to.
Why didn't you try to do it?
Oh boy. Do I have to do my VPN on?
No.
Because I swear stuff is acting up. But we got some crazy stuff to talk about, and I mean crazy stuff. If y'all know what I mean.
Oh, the Jesus face. Oh, that mystery. Oh, David, is Brightline online? Tell him to talk to his sister. And tell him I like to watch My Little Pony with her. Her sister. Oh my god.
I cannot even hear him.
Holy fucking shit.
I don't know what is wrong with Discord. But it...
Oh my god, someone cheated. Someone cheated. OMG. Someone cheated.
Discord. Discord on my end is very much... like, literally... like...
Someone cheated. Someone cheated. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Like...
Go ahead. Go ahead. Just get out. Get out. Like, no. Come on.
like, it almost like...
Yes.
like, Dimitri having problems on his end. Same with me.
Apologies, but there we go. Alrighty, let's go ahead in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin.
Alright. That Dimitri is for you. Rita bar. Here we go again.
They will not see it, unfortunately. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. I hope you can all hear me. It is your host and founder on this wild ride, Demetrius Villa. I hope you all are doing well. Oh man, they almost got here. One more time. Here we go.
In Marita bar.
We're still alive. There we go. Okay, let's not get a copyright strike there. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome aboard. It is your host and founder of this wild ride, Mr. Bones. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. No, you cannot get. I hope you're all doing well. All right, you can hear me. Good.
Oh yeah.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Your host and conductor, Demetrius Villa. Okay, but we have a lot packed in here today. But I mean, conductor, we do not have. It probably. I don't know. This was changing from the minute the last couple days. Wow. Okay. I mean, just everything that has happened in the last couple days has just been. Alrighty. Okay. I guess, but yeah. By the way, it is hot out there. It is.
Oh yeah.
It is
So
hot
true.
out there. I hope hope you guys are doing okay. But I mean,
What Dimitri just said is so true. It is hot, and I mean hot out there. Yesterday, it hit 100 degrees. It only lasted 10 minutes. Today, it hit 100 degrees. 20 minutes. But yeah, look like we got a storm coming in soon.
If I can get it into the screen here. You know what? Let me just move it up.
But yeah.
There we go. There you go. I got
Like,
a lot to go
literally.
through, guys. Okay. I hope you all are doing well, guys. This is
Waited on Dimitri to
it was just
invite.
changing by the minute.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's one of these memes. Tomorrow we'll strike this target. Be careful. I will retaliate the strike on your base. Don't forget to evacuate. It's been crazy. But guys, unfortunately, we do have to say a big rest in peace to our beloved bipartisan, respectable bipartisan, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast, who got what he wanted. He almost got what he wanted. He almost got what he wanted. All the young Zoomers and young millennial men who were hoping that this was going to be a golden age, and all of a sudden we're going to be drafted over to go to die for Mr. Bloodfeast and his ilk. We got lucky, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast has sadly passed away after seeing Mr. Trump, the president. I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. And frankly, I don't know
either.
What the hell is going on anymore. He
Literally.
just doesn't know what. It's been crazy. Man.
What Dimitri is saying is true. We do not really know what's going on anymore. Like, let me just say, bunkers. Bunker.
It's been a hot one out there. It's been hot, so hot that I hope you're not riding Amtrak at this point, because you may just be stuck. Amtrak loses power underground, strands passengers during a heat wave. We are having. It is a hot one out there.
Everything.
So yeah, right in. I believe it was in the which tunnel was it in? Because it was during that tunnel. Oh yes. Malfunction near Baltimore's Penn Station, and yes, that tunnel in Baltimore. Yes, so people were stuck.
Again.
There we are. Oh man, with no power. Talk about a hot one.
It's crazy.
By the way, we still sell if you guys are interested.
Being that, I need to ask Dimitri whatever happened to my 3D printed pencil or whistle.
The next time you get stuck in an Amtrak heat wave, you can go ahead and rep the American Rail Club with one of our tank tops. I probably should maybe take this to the gym and actually do some actual promotion at some point. You know how I am. I just want to get to talking about this sort of stuff rather than promoting anything. But here we are. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah. And Mr. Heat, snow in Yellowstone National Park. Wow, Star Force. It's hot. Wow. Okay, I'd rather be in Yellowstone right now. Let's be honest.
I would want to be up there too.
When it's cold, then to make cool when it's heat. Do you put in the oven? Whatever, you know that joke. But anyway, yeah, I would rather freeze than melt. Okay, being a Miami, born and raised in Miami, gone through a dozen or so hurricanes.
Same here.
Without power, I would rather, at least in the blizzard, you can put some stuff, light it up. There you go. There's some heat. Done. Very easy. You know what it takes to go ahead and cool down a house? Okay, and not only that, I mean, it's just crazy. But look, America is not the only place that's apparently falling apart, guys. It's also happening, and we talked about this before, in Spain, where you have some copper wire being stolen, some copper cables being stolen.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder who could be stealing the copper wiring. On the signaling cable taken from 4 locations, delaying high-speed services between Madrid and Seville. Week after massive power cut. And that was back last year. I mean, sorry, not last year. Last month.
You're right.
In May. So it gets pretty damn hot in Spain.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. The cables that had been targeted had little monetary value, being worth a total of 300 euros. Or 256 pounds, about $250, about more or less. Essential to the safety of the lights, they allow the system to know where the trains are. Well, this is seeming to be now a pattern. a pattern now because thanks to a certain ally we have that has caused destabilization in a certain region and certain amounts of people that we've bombed to move to certain places. This is now becoming more and more. We've been talking about this before, and I think it's now valid that this is a valid concern that if we want to build us infrastructure, we talked about this
To be
before,
on the road to shit.
We've talked about it that if you want to have a stable nation, you have to have a stable people too, or at least some sort of vision
You're right.
of what our people are going to be. Okay, because nations are not just people put and slapped together. Okay, and I think people are now starting to figure that out. Of what are we talking about over here? Okay,
You're right.
because let me see where it is. Okay, never mind. But again, let me go back to this. This is becoming apparently a pattern.
You're right.
In Europe now and in the West. Eurostar service is restored after severe delays due to huge cable theft in France. It's happening in France too. Look at that.
Yeah.
Would you look at that? It's just not good. Again, more copper cabling being stolen. So Eurostar service between the UK and EU have been restored after a huge section of rail cable was stolen or cut in France, causing delays to thousands of journeys. At least you were able to get it done quickly, but let me see if I can continue reading. That'd be nice. There we go.
It's crazy when you think about it.
So, situation caused chaos for travelers at London St. Pancras Station.
Like, it's been bad.
Repairs were done the same day, so that's good. A team of 15 engineers scrambled to repair the high-speed line after 600 meters of cable. Wow, stolen or cut at Lille Europe Station, the key interchange for trains between London and Paris. Likely subject to severe delays and last-minute cancellations. Your stations are very busy. We advise you to cancel or postpone your trip. But yeah, there you go. This is funny. A couple in their 70s from Coventry who had their holiday plans disrupted. Of course, they were going to Spain. Apparently,
That
seems to be a thing for British boomers. They tend to go to Spain on holiday. They don't call it vacation over there. They call it holiday. We had a train canceled this morning, and we've been
Funny
waiting
thing is,
most of the day for Eurostar to make their alternative.
All right. Fun fact: we don't get holidays here in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah. What they're talking about is like 6 weeks to 8 weeks of vacation. That's what they're talking about holiday, meaning they get a month off. So, yeah. No joke.
Happening where signaling cables being stolen and that sort of stuff. Again, it's not just here in the United States. This is something that's going on everywhere. So, yeah, this is what happens if you want to build a first world country. It needs to be kept first world, right? And I've been thinking about this for the United States. We have a broken, demoralized. Unfortunately, the infrastructure is broken.
You're right.
Right here in the United States, the infrastructure is broken. So badly that now Americans are told to now avoid driving in 7 states through Tuesday night because it's so hot, the ozone is so bad, whatever it is, ridiculous traffic abound everywhere. The roads have broken apart. The infrastructure's fallen. People demoralized and unhealthy.
Crazy is that there's one problem I'm going to say. If y'all remember a video vlog from a couple of days ago and the last live stream, I was talking about getting my hair cut tomorrow. The plans are out of the window now. Because, one, my damn workplace, and I'm probably going to be talking about it in tomorrow's video blog, they refused to put me on a midday schedule. They kept me for the last 4 days, or technically last 5 days to be more exact, on the morning schedule. It was so bad. I have literally spent about $120.
For real?
Oh yeah, to get into and from work by Uber. If they had given me the midday shift like around 10:30 to 7:30, I would have been able to take it and take an Uber home. But no, they kind of fucked that up for me.
Really?
Oh yeah, Phil.
I don't
Like,
know why they gave you a not
it because
schedules.
one, because we lost a couple of cart employees, just like Curlin and all that.
David, you could have talked to Curlin about my attorney that can help him.
I should have. Oh, that was my fuck up. Oh, well, that I do have a phone number on WhatsApp.
David, you have to talk to him about the lawyer that I have working. Trust me.
All right, I will later on.
But I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
All right.
And we have to
Like we
give
said
her the
before,
necessary
Los
files.
Angeles has had a very bad time
Leave.
in the last 6 months. They
And then
burned
we have to talk
twice.
to Walmart
They would have
about
burnt
the visa
another
sponsor,
third
you know?
time.
I know.
If things went the bad direction, it would not have been Iran. Funny enough, it would not have been Iran blowing up Los Angeles at this point. And I think, look, here's at least a good thing from this absolutely ridiculous silliness that has transpired over just in the last week or so. At this point, I'm losing count of what's going on. This year has been absolutely bonkers. Just this month has been bonkers. Okay.
You're right.
Was it June? I guess supposed to be Pride Month. Well, that was canceled. Then it became Mexican Month, and then it became World War III month.
What are you doing?
It's wow.
True.
Wow. It's as the saying goes. Years can you have sometimes get years where only weeks happen, and then you get. And of course, I'm paraphrasing that. That's not the exact quote. You have years where weeks happen, and then you have weeks where years happen. And
Oh yeah, Dimitri, you're right about
It's
that.
definitely been one of those years where it's just happening after happening after happening. It's just been crazy. But at least, look, the good thing is that people are starting to figure out that maybe we need to just start getting away from foreign interventionism at the very least. And again, I'm very much euphemizing that, but we need to start really thinking, what the hell are we actually getting from these guys over here? What the hell are we getting from them? And people are starting to figure that out, and that's becoming now an open thing. So that's at least a good thing out of all this. Done. We can finally start to kick away all the bad influences. We can start to question it and start to figure out over here. I mean, to the point where Casey, the car guy,
All right.
YouTube
I
channel that's
found.
been following for years. Casey, the car guy, is talking about it. And look,
Casey.
it's even like Theo Vaughn, Thomas Massey, which by the way is probably like one of the only few senators that actually, or representatives that actually have any sort of standing.
You're right.
Hold on a second, because my desktop audio doesn't seem to be working here. There we go.
Ooh.
Hold on a second. What's going on?
Uh-oh. Look like Dimitri having the same problem I did.
There we go.
Oh,
Always something. It's always something. It's always something. There we go. All right.
true.
Higher. Let me do it.
I'm not even.
Stupid.
Like, Dimitri having problems on his end.
The fuck?
We're about to have some rain coming in about like an hour from now. Let me check how long. Oh,
Yeah, but you get the point. I mean, things are starting to change now, so that's at least a good thing. We're getting past some of the big distractions, and that's really been the thing. This whole thing for
I'm hoping
decades
Saturday I'll
has
be
been
able to
a
railf
massive
in. I
distraction
doubt it,
into what the
because it looked
purpose
like we're going to get
and
rain all day
what
that
our
day,
national
but
priorities should be.
hopefully
It should over
that's not the
here.
case.
Not over anywhere else in the Middle East or anywhere else. Okay? And thankfully things are starting to change. That's the good
Ooh,
thing.
tomorrow gonna be
This would've
89.
happened when
89. 11-degree cooler.
Okay, we got the volume working, I think now.
hate
If
having
things
rain
were starting,
Friday.
let's say this. If the
Nah, it's
economy
not
was
gonna rain
better,
Friday.
Right? It was like
Where's the
80s,
clear shot?
90s level, 1980s, 1990s level. There was a lot of upward mobility. Most young men were able to find a job. There's not too much economic instability out there. Nobody would have cared.
Oh yeah.
Nobody would have cared what would really be more or less going on in the Middle East. It'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Something we can see on TV. Yeah, whatever. That's cool. That's cool to see. But it's not that case anymore. And unfortunately, it's the same type of people who have been lobbying for these sorts of interventionism that have also pushed for the high amounts of migrants into the West, that have also pushed for the destabilization of our country and of everything else.
You right.
Kind of shot themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it would have been even if it was economy in the 19th.
Dimitri actually right about that. That it's crazy, but to think about it, what Dimitri is saying is true.
Where you have so many terrible things happening in the United States, and look, is it bad economically and everything? Yes. But I think we're still at a point where things are way too comfortable for the vast majority of people to really get some stuff done.
You're right.
But at least it's come to the point that at least people are starting to question, and it's now become a mainstream topic.
You're right.
So that we can finally start to fix our country and finally get back on that. That's what we need to do. Which, at least a good thing that it's got. This is another thing that was probably more important than whatever the hell was going on over in a foreign desert. Let's talk about our own deserts. Let's talk about our own forests over here, because this was something, at least a slight win, at least for us. The National Forest proposed for land sale has been dropped out of the bill. Now there's still some on there, and I know that this was something that a lot of people on our side were really pissed off about. According to a new version of the bill obtained Wednesday by Politico, Lee still intent on selling off parcels of public land, but there's several new guardrails in place after the original proposal received widespread backlash and was deemed violation of Senate rules by the body's parliamentarian. Notably, U.S. Forest Service is no longer eligible for sale, and the bill language states that only Bureau of Land Management, or BLM land, will be disposed of. Now,
good.
The problem with this, again, it's not the worst thing. It's a little bit better than what it was before. But here's the thing: this whole entire point of building on BLM land, and we have to build housing. Well, first of all, we have the largest surplus of housing since the 2008 housing crisis.
Dimitri is right.
So housing is not the problem. Okay, the problem is that the houses that are being built rather poorly, as we've talked about before. That's just one part of it. We've talked about how bad, and this is the problem. They're going to go ahead and take all this land, all these beautiful, some of them are just kind of, it's just kind of desert, it's just kind of whatever land. But that's not the point. The point is we're just continuing the suburbanization of America, pushing that all out, rather than actually fixing our cities, making beautiful actual housing that actually works, that will last. Instead importing in basically just scab labor, slave labor, because the bosses don't want to pay actual Americans to build actual housing for Americans. So instead we have crappy housing being built. That's all this land at Bill Grab is going to do. It's going to be sold off to Blackstone, to State Street, to BlackRock, to go ahead and buy all this land up, to go ahead and make some of these crappy homes that are going to be 8 times the national average of your salary. And look, it's like this not even lived in, and these houses are made out of crap.
You're right.
Keep importing in, which this is
the
what needs to go
kicker
on.
is that Dimitri is right about this.
We just in this month alone, everybody's complaining about a certain people under a flag that's green, white, and red.
Mexico.
Burning the American flag and more or less chanting death to America. Well, do we not? Let me see. I think that something like that happened in Los Angeles, where, excuse me, hold on a second, wait a second. People talking about we have to go to war with a certain nation because they're waving their own flag while burning our own, more or less chanting death to our country, death to America, all that sort of stuff, right? I wonder where we've been seeing that happen. I wonder where we've seen that. Oh, wait a second.
No.
I swear to power about.
Is that Tehran? Is that Tehran? No. This was Los Angeles this month. This was Los Angeles this month. Not Tehran. Los Angeles. this is the problem that I keep talking about, guys. And I always talk about this. The whole theme of this month has more or less been the same. What is it all worth that we go ahead and build all this beautiful infrastructure if it's just going to get burnt and destroyed by people who don't want it? They don't like it being here. They don't, because they don't like this country. They don't like what it stands for. They don't want to be here. And it's just that's the problem. Forget this other flag. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's been talked about ad nauseum by every other channel for the last, 72, 48 week, whatever. Okay?
You're right.
I'm just glad, at least for the time being, that this time it hasn't gone. At least for now. At least for now. Who knows where else it can go? Okay? But that's the problem. We're going to go ahead and build all this beautiful infrastructure so it gets burnt down, or so that the cables can get destroyed, or that, the cables can get stolen, and the infrastructure can be destroyed. No. This is why we have to start really thinking about what we're going to do. So we're gonna sell more land so they can keep doing this. This is what you want, more of this, or actually fixing our countries. That's what we need to do. So we can build more of these? More of these? I guarantee you, and I've seen McMansions that look like these just around this area here in suburban Indiana. Okay? I guarantee you this is going to go for like $2 million or so. Why? So Boomer Billy and Boomer Brenda can have the Corvette C2, the Corvette C3,
Brenda.
They got the Corvette C4, and maybe space for the new Corvette C7 right there. And then we got the big boat, and then we got the RV. But don't worry.
Dimitri is right.
Don't worry. There's no such thing as massive economic disparity right now. Look, it's always going to be economic disparity. There's always going to be rich and poor. That's not the point. The problem is that it's so way off base that there's little to no upward mobility for those in the middle. If there's even a middle,
you're right.
And at this point, why again? To what point are we going to keep building infrastructure so we can sell all this BLM land, so we can keep building out and out and out into the desert? Okay. Now, there's some things that are being built in the desert, and we will talk about that. Brightline is now going ahead and doing the initial work to do field investigation and actually start building it there, which is a heck of a lot more than they're going to get done from California. Okay, and we won't talk about the joke today. Okay, it's sad what's happening in California, but at least like this that happened. There you are. So this happened in downtown Los Angeles, where ICE raided, and there you go. These are jobs. Why? Because the woman who's living here, who's I guess the boss or the owner of this business, does not want to hire actual Americans. She would rather pay somebody that was snuck over the border. And the whole economics of this and the whole supply chain and logistics behind it's basically illegal smuggling. Right? You can call it illegal slave trade if you want.
It is.
That's basically what it is. Behind all of this is so disgusting and terrible. But this is what people want to do. And I'm glad that it's now coming out. I mean,
Kicker is the liberals want to defend that bad behavior. They want to defend it. Trust me, the liberals are pieces of shit.
The main point behind the whole main storyline there. But yeah, this is what they do. Because they'll rather go ahead and hire illegal labor for $5 an hour or $5 a day, rather than actual Americans. So it drives the wages down.
Right.
It brings in more people. Then they have to go ahead and build more crappy housing. And then the housing prices go up. So then you get crappy housing on top of that. And now they want to go ahead and take more land away to go ahead and build more crappy housing.
You're right.
You see what I'm getting to over here? That's the problem. If you really want to go ahead and start fixing America, the first thing that needs to happen for people to start having jobs, for the inflation to go down, for anything to really start happening before we can talk about building infrastructure, is rebalancing our country right here. Okay? And it happened. So once a meatpacking plant was raided by ICE, actual Americans went ahead and like crazy, started rushing for those jobs. Immigration enforcement leads to a rush of applicants for those jobs from American citizens. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to start happening.
You right.
Okay? Look at this. There you go. Done. No more. Look, all these houses would have been crappy $300,000 homes that would have been, already falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, we've talked about that so many times, and of course, let me see. Where's I just want another excuse to play Margaritaville. If you guys know exactly what I'm going for, this is exactly what I'm going for. Hold on a second. Here
I
we
know
go.
what
Let me look through my bookmarks over here so we can find it.
Dimitri is right on what he is saying, and the reason why I'm bringing it up because of all the crazy stuff we need to think about it. Like, Dimitri had, like, a good point. And this is why we agree with a ton of the stuff, because it's true.
The traitors within that do this sort of shit.
Hey.
I'm sorry for getting upset, and there's a lot to be upset about. I get it, but this is what's upsetting.
Mm-hmm. And for the people who done the crap, and did what I'm going to say, charge them with treason.
Really?
For the village is Florida's friendliest hometown. Yeah, there you go. The people who want you to go ahead, there you go. Holden Bloodfeast's home is on hold. Unfortunately, he won't be able to because rest in peace, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast. So, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, too bad. Too bad. But anyway, look, this is the problem, and then we've been seeing this since 2007. This is again. This comes down to really what's going on in America. Forget what's going on in the middle. We need to start fixing here in our country to really start moving things and moving the needle to the right direction. We want to go away. We want to actually go ahead and do something with what we have here in this country.
Yes, sir.
Okay? If we want to get back to, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? We want to get back to this.
Yeah,
on the
great
top picture
stuff.
over here.
Hmm?
If we want that,
Florida.
okay? We need to stop it.
Florida, by the way.
You know, seeing it, I'm still aggravated at it because of my work schedule this week. I can't even get my haircut tomorrow.
For real?
Like, literally, it cost about $45 to get my haircut, Val, you remember?
Oh yeah, 25 to 30.
40.
You could do 40 with tips.
And that's saying, I don't even have the money. I have the bus tickets for tomorrow.
And I'm being a booty bomb.
You know what I mean? But
But we can at least restore a part of America of what it was. We talked about what America could be. Talking about, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Where's, there we are. The Milwaukee Road. We talked about this, how different America used to be back then. Okay? Which, speaking of... The Milwaukee Road. Alright, and I'll go ahead and pour something from, the Milwaukee Road. There you go. Some Spotted Cow from Wisconsin. This is probably, I think this is the best American beer. It fits area, and I'm putting it in a mug. Why not? There you go. Froth up.
Dimitri is right on what you're saying. That I'll be on it about.
There we go. All right.
Like,
Let's go. We calm down a bit here. Yeah. Here we are. We're not going to restore that until this sort of thinking needs to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Margarita bar.
That needs to go. That needs to go.
He right.
Go. It looks like.
He right.
Speaking of, in the great state of Florida, fantastic Florida, alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, I heard about this. For people that don't know this, and I'm going to bring it up.
There you are.
Florida is talking about building like their version of Alcatraz in a way. It's super, super funny. Like, literally, like, wow. It's laughable when you just think about it.
Very much not something people would rather talk about in infrastructure. It's somehow, well, it's less taboo now, but we really have to understand that if we want to talk about getting our infrastructure fixed, we have to talk about, first things first, okay? And let me see, this was a good exchange over here on X. There we are. Just a little bit more so we can talk about this, because this is why the whole federal land just ticks me off. This guy,
and yes, I'm not wearing the ring today because look.
Green line, go up. Green line, go up. I cannot stand these sorts of people because this is what it turns into. It's literally this meme. If I can put it in here, there you go. It's literally this meme. Yeah, I'm conservative, except for conserving the environment, natural resources, culture, native biodiversity, or traditional values. I'm just talking about conserving the GDP. That's the type of thinking that's this. That's that type of thing. Okay.
You're right.
You could fit 437,500 new homes. That's more than all the homes in San Francisco. Yeah, if we just built that Brooklyn density. This is the problem with it's kind of a joke in and of itself. It's a parody of YIMBYism, which is the opposite of NIMBYism. NIMBYism is not in my backyard. And then you have the opposite, which is YIMBYism. Yes, in my backyard. The problem is you have people that are far on the wingnut side of it.
Oh yeah.
They're like, yeah, if we could just build, multi-structured coffee shops everywhere in Brooklyn density, multi-use structures, we can be able. No, there's a balance to it. There's a balance to it. Going ahead and destroying all the beautiful, the beautiful seaside over here in California, okay? Wait, it's a beautiful place. To go ahead and to build. Wait, what are we gonna build there? We're gonna build these. That's what we're gonna build.
Dimitri is right about this, and reason why I'm bringing that up because one, we literally are building stuff for car, and all the stuff that happened is because of big automotive. Like,
Why?
big automotive is the reason why we're here. Oh yeah.
Look, we have record surplus of housing. This would only benefit Blackstone. The selling of our land is the most boomer line go up salience along with their bloodlust for nuclear war. And then this guy, deport every single legal alien first and then we can talk. Yeah, and I said, yes, this has to be a prerequisite before any infrastructure. We all know that this will result in more suburban sprawl of crappy new construction homes built by imported master craftsmen, all available for you starting at $450K at 69% APR. Presented by BlackRock and Palantir. Okay? Is that what we want? Okay? Is that what we want to happen? No.
To be honest, the people on BlackRock should go to jail. They should.
Okay, that's not in any sort of traditional sense. Forget whatever liberal, conservative, or whatever. It's not American. It's un-American.
It is.
It's frankly
Dimitri is
un-American.
right.
Okay? You had
Like-
fantastic... Teddy Roosevelt, after Jackson... Teddy Roosevelt is definitely, I think, the second best American president. Okay, establishing the
Teddy
national
Roosevelt.
parks, establishing
the
the
best.
protection of beautiful parkland, because you do need nature. Okay?
You're right.
And it's an important part of it because what happens is, here's the thing, when you start seizing people's homes and it gets to this point where it just becomes sprawl everywhere. It gets to this point where you get to this. Happened in New Jersey at a 175-year-old farm.
Oh yeah.
These guys have been holding out as long as they can. Small farm over here in New Jersey. Okay? About to be taken away so they can build more public housing. That's it. That's it. There you go. That's what happens. If you don't do it, the government will take it away. Like we've talked about,
Right.
Central Rail, the basically probably giant agri farms, big agri, that's going ahead and build. They're either here's the thing. Look, farmers are great, but 95% of farmers, they're probably all either growing corn or soy, and that's all they grow. 1 year is corn, next year is soy. 1 year is corn, the next year is soybeans. And that's another thing. When you start building out so much as we have now, so many people in this country.
Dimitri, you're right about that.
So much suburban sprawl.
Oh yeah.
And you have so many giant, industrial farmland. Well, another thing happens. Here's just in my neighborhood, my neck of the woods. Okay? Public health advisory issued for Geist Reservoir, parts of the White River.
Ooh.
So there you go. The Fishers Health Department has issued a public health advisory for the Geist Reservoir and portions of the White River. According to the news release, the city's health department said it obtained satisfactory results carrying out E. coli testing at the following locations.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, that a
At the park. So for those of you again who are not too familiar with what the state of Indiana looks like, and this could be anywhere. Okay?
Live
And we'll talk about a little
streaming!
bit more about you know, other stuff happening here. This is a big part of Indianapolis where people go for recreation is this Geist Reservoir over here, which is
You're right.
it's kind of not a lake, kind of fake. It used to be a lake, and then they just dredged it more for it. It's kind of a fake lake. It's a fake lake, but because Indiana's a landlocked state, and Indianapolis is not, well, it's not connected to any of the Great Lakes, unfortunately, where if you actually want some real lakes and stuff like that, you're gonna have to kind of go up here. Where all the people from Chicago then go ahead and sweep up and invade into Milwaukee and Wisconsin. I feel bad for Wisconsinites up there that have to deal with that. But anyway, no offense to anybody in Chicago who's watching. But yeah, leave
funny.
Wisconsin alone. Leave it alone. You get your own legs. Like Indiana here. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. Because you have so much suburban sprawl all over the place.
It's crazy.
All these giant farms have to go. Because why? Well, because it used to be before. You used to have smaller hamlets, smaller towns.
You're right.
All these places, and this is not just here. It could be any town in the United States. Okay.
Happened here
Texas.
in South Carolina.
Texas is probably the worst bit at it. Okay. Dallas and Fort Worth used to be two different cities. It has sprawled out so much that they're basically one area now. It's the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, because there is so much sprawl happening all about over here. I mean, it's insane. You have basically almost look at this. This is insane. You know, you have places that used to be smaller that are now just growing and growing and growing in size.
And true.
Okay. To accommodate not just the amount of people coming in, but just the changes. It's also behavioral changes. Okay, because it used to be that Americans didn't have to go ahead and have an hour commute. They didn't have to live out over here to go ahead and commute into the city. Okay? They used to live in the city, work in the city, do everything in the city, or whatever. Or if they weren't in the city, well, they used to live maybe somewhere out over here, anywhere else, okay, and have work over there, live over there, and everything else over there. And before, agriculture used to be smaller. Okay? Speaking of supply chain, speaking of logistics, okay, this is all connected to trade. How? Yes. Because why? Because it used to be smaller farms, smaller family farms that used to be way out into the countryside. And it used to do not just corn and soybeans. They used to grow a whole number of things. So you biodiverse area used to grow wheat or apples or whatever. And there's still places that have that sort of stuff over here, but they're very few and far in between because if you really want to survive as a farm, well, you have to grow Monsanto corn or Monsanto soybeans. Okay? And all that fertilizer, all that stuff runs into the water. Let's go back into here we are. We're going back. That's why I don't care what the hell's going on the other side of the world. Okay, look, where's that list? Where is that list here somewhere? Where's that list? Indianapolis is not here, and Miami's not here, so I don't care. There we go. I don't care. But anyway, let me go back to the maps. Where do my maps go? Okay, all these giant farms that are all growing all this crappy corn. Okay, and yes, we kind of do need the crappy corn because it goes into all our food, all the HFCs, all the plastics and everything else. All
just
the fuel,
about the crash again.
The prices would have gone astronomically no matter what if it was something were to happen.
Yep, and just like I said, Discord crashed.
To trucks.
There we
going ahead and taking all that instead of it used to be smaller trains. We're at an inflection point that everything, the supply chain in America as it stands right now, is starting to come to a crushing point. Now is a good time to start really getting out the idea because that's the only thing that's going to work. Okay, you're going to have to distribute farms in a way that it's going to be smaller family farms. You cannot have these giant corporations just owning things. It has to start going back to small families, small businesses, and that sort of thing. Because you keep going like it's just going to turn into like a cyberpunk utopia. If it had something ready.
No,
People
he's
starting to
right.
get upset the way things are. So this is why we're now at a point and we have to talk about these sorts of things. We want to start talking about rail and all that sort of stuff, but yes, but we also have to talk about the supply chain that is behind all that, behind the rail infrastructure.
Dimitri, you're right about
I
that.
know this has been talked about with some other, mainly, now I just forgot the book. I even interviewed him as well. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day, but anyway.
So true.
Let's kind of go back to all this sort of stuff over here. Yeah, look, I think people are now starting to get the point. People are getting the point. We're getting there. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we can start building stuff again. And I know one of the biggest points we've talked about, like the New York subway. You know, basically $2.5 billion for the Second Avenue subway. $2.5 billion per mile, the most expensive infrastructure project on the planet.
True.
For what? For what? We've talked about this before. Pedestrian so we just talked about this. Yeah, look, we have to start rebalancing the United States to really start building this infrastructure again. And we'll
Dimitri
get there.
is right about that.
Anyway,
He really. Oh, brother.
what's that? What's that?
It.
Oh, the Blood Feast is back, guys. Ascended Demon, Prince Holden Blood Feast. We may never get rid of them, can we? Ascended after the U.S. bombed Iran, wants to see the world drown in blood. He's still a respectable bipartisan, by the way. I guess Holden Blood Feast is back to haunt us again, unfortunately. Oh well, guys. Oh well, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the type of stuff we have to go against. It really is a kind of a metaphysical war because we're really going against. When you really think about it, we're going against a whole train of thought that has generationally crushed the country into thinking small, being mediocre. We've become, like I said before, a managed mediocre Margaritaville.
He right.
For the benefit of a few to go ahead and keep building this sort of silliness. And it's like these people haven't honestly grown up.
They really haven't.
Again, they're building stuff to put the toys. I mean, it kind of when you think of the term baby boomer, it's true. They're kind of still in a sense. Again, I don't have to say. If I have to keep saying, not all of them. I'm gonna get kind of upset. But you guys get the point. It's the problem. We're kind of keeping the country going for people who just kind of don't want to grow up.
Dimitri, you're right about that.
We're getting to an inflection point. We can start to fix things again. We can start to have things make a little bit more sense. It's not going to be perfect, but we have to just start making just those small steps. Those small steps. Go to your city councils and ask them, every time they start building a new construction project, they take down one giant industrial, cornfield to now go ahead and build these McMansions. Go ahead and ask them. There's probably going to be like 5 council members on there. Ask them, hey, who are they going to be hiring? Are they going to be hiring locals to go ahead and build these homes? Are these homes going to be for locals? Are the prices going to be for local prices? Because I guarantee you they're probably not. And they're going to look at you like this. Okay? And I just saw Moneyball again with my wife. Cool movie. I do like this movie. And again, I'm not. This is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Like that you're going against. It's an unfair game.
It is.
The reason why it's an unfair game is because the people have basically made it an unfair game. The ones who have created the game have made it unfair for you.
He's
so
right.
We're kind of like the young guys in the room that are going against the old way of how everything is going. That's what we're going up against.
Dimitri is right about that. He really is. And that's something that people don't realize. Like, it's something that some people don't realize, but
this is what we're going against, guys. This is, every time I've gone into a council meeting, this is how it is for me. I'm always the youngest guy in the room, and probably still at this age, at 31, I probably will still. Like the next youngest guy is probably going to be maybe 40 something. Or maybe you have the secretary who's an intern. Maybe she's in her 20s, but that's it. Okay, that's how we're going. We have to change the way that this country is going. All right. I'll go ahead and start finishing up over here because we can't have it better. And who has had Shinkansens and bullet trains for almost 60 years. Well, now it's 60 years. They have now for 60 years. I remember we were talking about 50 years. It's been 60 years now. We've been at this for a while. And I'm going to start to get old. Okay, and at that point, it will be time to pass the torch to somebody else. But I still got time. I'm still 31, I think, right?
36. Get ready to 37.
Yeah, redesigning all the bullet trains over here again. They're working on that. Well, not all of them, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. A new model is going to be coming out soon. The current E2 and E5. Remember the E5 Hayabusa when that was cool. Okay, this is the E5 over here. Okay, this is still
remember that.
Just way ahead of anything that we have here in this country. Okay, that's what we have here, and this is what we could be having. Okay, this sort of stuff, right? We could be having the cool super duper bullet trains. Okay, but yeah, they're replacing that.
Right about that.
They're saying, yep, time to keep going. We have to start keep improving, and we'll get there here in the United States. So let's talk about Brightline, okay? I'm going to talk about Brightline, and then I'm going to talk about 2 more articles, and then we're going to call it a night, okay? And then we're going to go into getting the calls in. We'll do that for 30 minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Sound good? Sound good. Okay. Updated Brightline projects in Southern California include Six Road, and that's a real road. They named it like that on purpose. Geotechnical boring will be performed at the I-15 freeway median of the Wildlife Crossing Bridges, Mojave Drive and I-15, Kellbreaker Road and I-15, Razor Road and I-15. So there you go. Brightline project includes a flagship passenger station in Las Vegas and stops in Apple Valley, Hesperia, and Rancho Cucamonga. Field testing is continued after Brightline hosted a groundbreaking for its high-speed system in April of 2024. February 2025, Nevada Department officials were told by Brightline officials that construction of the project will begin within the next 2 months. So there you go. And it's happening. So they're already going ahead and doing the work already. So there we go. During the daytime hours.
Fun fact, the reason why it took it long was because of the airlines. They've been fighting tooth and nail to try to stop it from happening.
And I know some of you guys have go ahead and keep posting the giant. What if we could have intercontinental high-speed rail and national high-speed rail? But the current way, it's this is it. It's not going to happen until that thinking goes away. But at least we can start making small strides to it. Start thinking more locally. Again, we said this for years, and I've said this for years. The federal government, at best, can be a silly piggy bank. All right, a silly piggy bank that maybe at some point will throw away some billions of dollars to your project, or some bonds, or whatever, or grants, which Brightline has taken advantage of, and good. Good. And no, not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to be an Atlas shrugged, Dagny Taggart, 100% private bullet train, built on the backs of libertarian dollars. No, that's not happening either, okay?
Nope.
Let's be real and realistic, okay? Most of these are going to be public-private partnerships, okay?
You're right.
Brightline, yes, is a private company, but it's essentially working as a public partnership. And that's what we have to start thinking of. Just at least do it. We don't have to make it 100% perfect. If it's at least 85% of the way there, 80% of the way there, hell, we'll take 50% at this rate. Which is what, more or less, people who are complaining that Brightline in Florida is too slow, or is like, oh, they should have gone ahead and done grade separation and make it higher and faster and whatever. They did the best with what they were able to do.
Oh, yeah, they did.
You have rail in Florida. You have something there in Florida. It's a much better than what was before, which is nothing. Which is what this country is heading really quickly towards.
You're right.
The American civil engineers went ahead, or Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, whichever it is, American Society of Civil Engineers, whatever, rated this country's infrastructure as a D+. That's a failure. You fail a class if you get a D. Okay, it's probably an F at this point.
Probably is.
But American infrastructure is not crumbling, it's crumbled. So you have to start making the steps. That's what we need to start talking about. Okay? And it's going to get worse. Okay? It's going to get worse as we see the main mode of transportation in this country begin to implode on itself.
You right?
Do what the big three have done, especially GM, is probably the worst of the big three, the most evil of the big three. We've talked about this so much, about planned obsolescence and absolute dog water quality of modern American vehicles with the highest amount of recalls in the history of American automobiles. And to the point that they're imploding before they even get to the engines are falling apart the minute you get them off the dealership lot. Or they're not even made to last, and it's been a thing in GM, and it's now come out, a whistleblower from GM. This is a long interview, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you guys can go ahead and see it. This is the car guy on YouTube. Again, talking about this whole sort of thing. About, you know, General Motors basically going ahead and saying, yeah, we want to make sure, let's skimp out on the metal quality for certain products so they can fail at a certain point, and then we're going to push the maintenance intervals so far across that instead of doing an oil change every 10,000 miles, let's do an oil change every 20,000 miles. Oh, it makes it worse on an engine that's made like crap.
Oh, yeah.
So cars are going to get crappier. It's going to turn into Cuba pretty soon. Okay? You're going to be having, you know, 30-year-old vehicles with, at this point, Soviet tank engines at this rate going in there to keep them going. That's where we're heading real quick to Cuba. That's what this country is going into, because it's self-imposed on us. Okay, there you go. You're going to be having 1957 Chevy Bel Airs with like 1980s Lada engines in them here in the United States pretty soon. No, okay, not to that extent, but you get what I'm saying. It's getting really bad. Yeah.
You're right.
And there you go. Older automobiles could have easily serviced and repaired exceeding 250,000 miles. The process would be supplanted by new models that were impossible to maintain or lasted an estimated 100,000 miles before the lofty repair bills became too much to endure. There you go. And you can read this whole article. It's more or less all the same nightmarish stuff that we've been talking about. The terrible, absolutely god-awful business practices that have been too ingrained into America right now that need to die. These bad business practices and the people who implement them and think it's business as good as they stare at you with like blank eyes because they're the CEO, those people need to go. This needs to change. So we'll get there.
We'll get there.
No, the Lord and Savior is through Elon Musk. It is not going to solve everything now with his cyber taxi. That is not a fix.
Not a fix.
That is not a fix to America's infrastructure problems. This is not fixing anything. This is the same thing with just some tech pro tech in it. That's it. And as you can tell, well, Tesla hit by train after extreme self-driving mode error went down the tracks approximately 40 to 50 feet.
Ooh.
The Lion hits the small Tesla as it crosses its path.
Oh,
that's basically
funny.
What happened here. There you go. Yeah. Is that a sign or is that a sign? There you go.
It is.
Not going to fix anything. That is not a fix. Now, last article. I know I said last article like 5 articles ago, but this is the last one. Here's at least a good thing. So while Palestine is getting blown up,
good.
East Palestine, they did get blown up. They're now going ahead and finally doing the National Institute of Health under RFK is now going ahead and going to do a $10 million research initiative aimed at understanding and addressing long-term health effects of the 2023 railroad derailment in East Palestine. So finally some sort of justice to it. I hope Norfolk Southern, or let's put it this way. Less the company itself and more the leaders and people in charge that put in the disastrous precision scheduled railroading initiatives through Norfolk Southern. that were
PSR
the
needs
basis and
gone.
foundation of this destructive incident. That's what
To be
caused
honest,
this.
it is dying.
Okay, the very corporatocracy, just bad laissez-faire business practices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh.
capitalism works when capitalism is used as a tool to help uplift your normal everyday families.
You right.
Capitalism as a weapon from the top to go ahead and whip and destroy modern and middle America is an absolute nightmare. Okay,
That is also
it's
true.
the flip coin. Free-range capitalism and communism are two sides of the same coin, and
You're
they're
right.
both used to beat down the ever-living crap out of the person in the middle, out
Mm-hmm.
of the people who just want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. Yes, capitalism works, but
It
not
does.
when it's in the hands of awful, terrible people that don't care and get away with this. Again,
Mm-hmm.
no consequences means they just keep going.
You
No
right.
consequence means no changes. So changes are only going to start to happen when we start seeing consequences for bad things.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
it's bad companies, getting away with basically murder, destroying for generations the groundwater instead of this, and not just that. I mean, you have what's going on, what happened in with the groundwater in Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
or this sort of stuff where they're basically going ahead and making sure, taking advantage of the average American worker, the average American man, woman, and children,
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and make cars that are made like garbage. Then they charge you 5 times more than what it would have cost before.
Mm-hmm.
$70,000 for a van. The average car price now is approaching $50,000 for a new car,
Oh, he
and a
is
used
true.
car is approaching $30,000.
Which,
That's crazy. I remember when you could buy a car for a couple $100 or maybe a few $1,000s.
he
Well,
right.
I got lucky buying my car for $6,000. I did an oil change on it a couple weeks ago, and it's still going. And that
Dimitri
car gonna
is
go
right
for,
about
I
that.
hope, and I pray at least 250.
All right, come on. All right. All right, sorry everyone. Power went out there for a minute. Let me check.